Hello, all. Welcome to Spiritually Unspiritual, where psychology and spirituality go hand in hand. Ta-ding. Hello. Welcome to a new moon in Scorpio reading. For this new moon in Scorpio, there are lots of things going on. I'm not an astrologist, so from what I have researched is not only is it a new moon in Scorpio, so in the energy of the new moon in Scorpio, this new moon's focus is on themes of transformation, power, rebirth, shadow work, healing, desire, mystery, boundaries. Shadow work is the one that is kind of jumping out the most to me as I'm looking through, understanding sort of the kind of intensity of this new moon in Scorpio. And again, there's also consideration for alignment with Pluto, and there is some aspect of opposition to Uranus, marking a surge in our desire to break free from restriction and rebel from unfairness and follow the path that is unique to us. There's just too many moving parts, to be honest. So there's taken consideration for, again, alignment with Pluto, opposition to Uranus, but in this energy of new moon in Scorpio, with those kind of amplifications, if you will, there was something I came across that was really interesting, and I wanted to touch in on just some of these more profound themes of, again, shadow work. So this new moon is encouraging us to look inward and to face something we would rather avoid, and to sort of work in sort of identifying and then letting go of existing identities, attachments, and narratives, to relate with change as a natural process of evolution rather than a loss of security or control. And for new moon in Scorpio, the emphasis on evolution has come up quite a bit as well. Bear with me, I'm just kind of running through my notes here. There was something that, sorry for the noise. There was something that was really fascinating in an article that describes this sense of descending into the underworld, and not just an underworld, but your inner underworld. So again, really that shadow type of energy message is coming through, and to visualize yourself walking down a long stone staircase or sinking into deep water. When you arrive at the bottom, meet your shadow, your inner guide or power animal. Ask them, what do I need to know to transform? What gift or truth am I meant to carry back? So that's as much intention as I want to set for the new moon in Scorpio reading. I'm going to transition to describing our supporting stones, which were complicated in a way as well. So for new moon in Scorpio, it recommended bloodstone, and I have this African bloodstone, and this one is just beautiful. African bloodstone help boost vitality, providing protection from negative energy, and promoting courage and grounding. And with all this sort of emphasis around shadow work, I think that's really important. Stay grounded. You know, a lot of the messaging is to, you know, not run away from your fear, but to sort of stay in discomfort, to sort of learn a little more, work a little more with it if you can. The stone is associated with root chakra, believed to cleanse and revitalize one's energy, and can be used to enhance creativity in decision making. There's some other wonderful things that go with African bloodstone. The other supporting stone I'm bringing in, another stone for new moon in Scorpio that was recommended was tourmaline. There was also a mention of tourmalated quartz or tourmalated quartz. Basically quartz that has, like, you know, strands of black tourmaline running through. And you get like sort of a double kind of power here with the tourmaline and the clear quartz. So again, a stone of protection, balance, and clarity, and combines protective qualities that amplify and cleanse with the clear quartz. So shield against negativity, balance energy, release destructive thought patterns, and promote spiritual growth. That really aligns with some of the messaging around new moon Scorpio, especially in some of the considerations, I believe, with alignment with Pluto. There is, again, with the alignment in Pluto, challenging our existing limitations and growing past them. And so again, asking for more unconscious or shadow work in this lunar cycle. Leave it at that, okay? That is just a different type of intention I've set for a moon reading, but I think it is the one that, again, kind of gravitates into the energy I'm working with today. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to working with the cards. And again, moon reading, we've got our Moonology and our Moon Magic. I'm going to take a little sip of water here. And go ahead. I have pre-shuffled both of these decks. Try to shuffle them really well. I want to make sure, you know, we get what we need for today. And yeah, this is my first reading since returning from vacation. So kind of dipping my toes back into the process, if you will. Whew. And let's see. New moon in Scorpio. Whoa. Let's see how many cards we got. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Work with those, and I would like a few more. Take that. Okay. Can I get maybe one more? I like having like 5 to 6. Let's see. One more. Get one more card. Whoops. Whew. Okay. Bear with me. One more card. Two more. We'll work with two more. Okay. Full moon in Gemini, disseminating moon. Okay. Let's see. Let me make sure those are all in frame. At some point, I will probably figure out how to hook all this up to a monitor. But for now, I'm gonna just guess. Okay, hopefully it's not too crooked. Okay, let's see what we have here. New moon in Libra, a new romantic cycle begins. Balsamic moon, a time for healing. Show the world the real you, full moon in Aquarius. It's time to take action, new moon in Aries. The answers you need are coming, full moon in Gemini. Take time to breathe out, disseminating moon. A new romantic cycle begins. Time for healing. Show the world the real you. Time to take action. The answers you need are coming. Take time to breathe out. Okay. Well, nothing is really coming through at the moment. That's letting me know to move on to Moonology to see, I'm sorry, Moon Magick, to see what is the real message. Let's see. Okay. A new romantic cycle begins. I choose to take a higher perspective and widen my views. Let's see, what else? Okay, these are, I'm glad they're popping out. A time for healing. I'm open and responsive to the abundance of the universe. Okay. Show the world the real you. Moon Magick. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Sorry, Moon Magick. Moon Magick. Whoa, here we go. Gratefully, I surrender my struggle. That's for sure. Oof. I don't know about the rest of you, but is it this new moon having a interesting impact? Challenging, but for the better. Show the world the real you. Gratefully, I surrender my struggle. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, ooh. The energy just feels so much more serious. And I'm trying to make sense of what that's meant to mean. So it's time to take action. I know myself deeply and find myself worthy. Interesting how these are lining up. Okay. Answers you need are coming. Moon Magick, what do you have to add? What do you have to add? Moon Magick. Whoop. I accept renewal and delight in fresh starts. Oh, geez. Okay, let's see. And let me go ahead and move all of this up just a bit more. Let's see. Okay. I think you can see those. Okay. All right. Okay. One more time. Take time to breathe out. Whoa. Too many. Too many. Take time to breathe out. Take time to breathe out. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? No, too many. Okay. Yeah, that card always shows up. Take time to breathe out. Take time to... Is it this one? Take time to breathe out. I let go. I release. I am within perfect possibility. Ooh. Well, you know, I don't think I'm rusty, but I'm definitely not picking up anything super clear. And a new romantic cycle begins. I choose to take a higher perspective and widen my views. I think the word romantic is stumping me. I choose to take a higher perspective and widen my views. Well, again, if we look at the theme for new moon in Scorpio, we have to remember that the energies around new moon in general, right? Releasing, endings, letting go, so that new beginnings can occur. I choose to take a higher perspective and widen my views. Change. Higher perspective, widen my view. Expanding to more romance, right? Maybe being more open, willing, more ready for some, for romance, a romantic cycle. And what is romance? What is romantic? You know, a lot of times we think of just relationships. Well, for some, but what if it is also falling back in love with life, falling back in love with just what makes you happy? Higher perspective, widen my views. I mean, those are all very positive, right? A time for healing. I am open and responsive to the abundance of the universe. Again, this does speak more to new moon in Scorpio. Remember what I said about the groundedness and needing to stay with discomfort, stay with trying to access that inner underworld. And therefore you can be open and responsive to what it is you need to find. That will lead to healing. that will lead to healing. This is so wild. So show the world the real you, and then I know myself deeply and find myself worthy. You would think these would be together. These are sort of like they match, right? But instead, we get this show the world the real you. Gratefully, I surrender my struggle. That's so internal. When we're at a place of acceptance, when we're in a different, higher perspective, and we're more open and responsive to the abundance of the universe, it's easier to let go. So I surrender my struggle gratefully. That's key, right? Understanding that sometimes things are just meant to end. Or things are just meant to be let go of. They no longer serve you. But show the world the real you. Is this about being more courageous? Is this about showing less fear? Being more brave? Again, these themes of transformation and power for New Moon and Scorpio, yeah, that's coming through, but not clear. And what I mean by not clear is just not easy. Not easy. These are much more kind of complex messages. And so here we have, it's time to take action. I know myself deeply and find myself worthy. Again, now it makes sense when we have it all together, because they're all talking to one another. Yeah, when you know yourself deeply and find yourself worthy, you know you are worth taking action for. Sometimes those actions are, again, setting boundaries, letting go, surrendering. Sometimes those actions are a little quieter, though, too. It's time to take action. Maybe taking action is also facing that inner shadow version of self, and to release its block on your ability to connect deeply, or to know your worth. Because remember, in the shadow work, it's really requiring the work to identify and challenge those limiting, negative, self-beliefs. And that's literally what's coming up in these descriptions. Again, the existing identity, the old attachments, the old narratives. So again, time to take action, to have a different relationship with change, maybe. Okay. The answers you need are coming. I accept renewal and delight in fresh starts. Again, a new attitude. Change as natural. Change as necessary for evolution. Change for growth. There's a lot of, again, it's not heaviness, but it's not light, it's not joyful, it's not about, harmony and balance. It's like really wanting you to go inward and release some of this really ignored stuff holding you back. That's really coming through. So that then there can be more space. And then in that space, you can accept renewal and delight in fresh starts, because there's no longer the fear of the old you, right? Oh, okay. Take time to breathe out. I let go. I release. I am within perfect possibility. Dark moon. Disseminating moon. Dark moon. Dark moon. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. This new moon in Scorpio is definitely a dark one. And also, maybe it's this time of year. It's November. It's literally darker. You know, we have less sunlight. There's this potency in darkness that you know, sometimes encourages us to go inward, to go beyond inward. This word of retreat has also come up. You know, the in a spiritual journey, there is also an ask to retreat into oneself, to dive deeper, to detach from what's going on outside of us, to get to some truth of not just who we are, but who we're meant to be. I let go, I release, surrender. I'm within perfect possibility. Oh, that takes a lot of groundedness, you know? It takes a lot of self-trust. It takes a lot of, I am within perfect possibility. Yeah, that's a statement of quiet confidence, right? What does that mean? I'm within perfect possibility. Almost sounds too good to be true, right? Especially if you're doing shadow work, especially if you're dealing with you know, like, you know, energies of self-doubt or second guessing or feeling, you know, defeated, because sometimes life throws you blows, right? Out of nowhere comes, just the rug gets pulled out from under you, or confusing challenges, or just ongoing reminders of where things feel stuck. And to you know, kind of summarize a lot of these sort of similarities in the messaging now, right? About going inward, about knowing self, about knowing your value, about being grounded and assured in your self-knowing that when change occurs, it's for the better, it's for a reason. It's more so, it's something you can handle, to not fear change, to not fear. It's not just change though, because it's also, sometimes it's loss. And as humans, we naturally want to avoid loss and the pain of loss. We do everything in our ability to not have to be in pain. But then sometimes that in itself generates suffering, which is a different type of pain. It may be perceived as more manageable, but in the long term, it actually keeps us stuck. And pain is an energy to move through. Well, as I'm picking up on this all together, now it's making more sense, especially for this new moon. And yeah, I do feel like there is more here. I almost feel tempted to grab some other cards, to be honest. But I also think it's okay to not have such a comfortable reading. You know, I think, again, this ask to go not just deeper, but to go into those dark places within oneself, to explore what is being hidden away within one's self. If we're in a process of spiritual growth and evolution, that is the work. We can't ignore it. We can't hide from it. We get lunar cycle reminders to do the work, to be reminded. There's always opportunity to go inward, to let go, to reevaluate, reassess. That again, right, in tarot, right, it's the, it's the Wheel of Fortune, right? And it's also the World card. Completion, cycles, beginnings, everything keeps turning. Why do we as humans resist? Well, that's just nature. We're mortal. We're conditioned. That's part of the shadow work as well. When we talk about attachment, be mindful of the conditions of the things that are of value, especially externally, whether it is like actual material attachment or relational attachment. Be mindful of the conditions. Is there peace? Is there balance? Is there tension? Or is there stuckness? Or is there something deeper within you that you don't want to look at, that is actually the answer to help surrender your struggle? Show the world the real you. Or is it your inner world? And is it to show yourself your own inner world, so that then the highest version of you can show up for the world? Okay. I think that's as far as I'm going to go with this. I don't know how much time has gone by, but the energy feels very different. I hope that this helps whoever needs it. And if things feel a little more challenging this new moon in Scorpio, it is for a reason. This is some like no joke energy, whether we're ready for it or not. And so perhaps this is a new moon we don't take so lightly, but then we also, because of that, need some pretty amped up like protection and assistance with grounding and with, blocking negativity. Okay. Well, that's new moon in Scorpio. Thank you for coming into this energy. Thank you for receiving a message that isn't so comfortable, but maybe is needed to hear, to remind yourself that you have the ability to face your fears, and you have the ability to face yourself, the darkest parts, your darkest version. And dark doesn't have to be a negative word. It is just another aspect of our humanity, of what protects us, what helps us feel temporarily safe sometimes. But again, in the dark, we cannot see our way forward. And therefore, it's easy to get lost. So hopefully, by looking inward, by letting go, by releasing, by moving into some more fearless energy, to not fear change, then you do end up taking a higher perspective, widening your views, attracting in the things you desire, whether it's romance, healing, change, answers, reminders to just take time to breathe out, right? Remind yourself of your own ability to ground and calm your own mind, body, spirit. You feel it in your nervous system, right? That in this moment, it's okay. Everything doesn't have to just change overnight. And you have more choice than you realize. Okay, well, have an introspective day. I know I have. Take good care. Bye-bye.